back to HM&E Review Things. Today, we are reviewing a movie that we said we would never watch, or we wouldn't watch, and all three of us went to go watch it, like, the opening weekend.
That's right.
We're here to review The Little Mermaid, the live-action remake.
Right.
What did you guys think of The Little Mermaid?
Rob?
In summary,
Yes.
I was quite surprised that I came out enjoying this movie.
Yeah, our expectations were fairly low.
Like, we're talking Fast X kind of low.
You love Fast X, though.
No,
You enjoyed Fast X.
I
You
didn't.
enjoyed Fast X.
I enjoyed Fast
a lot,
X.
yeah.
It was a comedy. I enjoyed the comedic parts of
Okay, and then
Fast
Little
X.
Mermaid, your initial thoughts.
I think it was better than I thought it would be. I mean, maybe because of the previous live action movies, I just was not having. Now, the other thing was we had some of our children with us, so maybe that added to the enjoyment factor. If it was just 5 guys sitting in a row, we might have not enjoyed it as much, but I could see my girls enjoying it.
Yeah, my kids loved it.
And they were like leaning forward. They were singing the songs after in the car. So that might have psychologically changed my grade.
Right.
I needed a little bit of time to process the movie. I think I have a few things that now after a few days, I want to change my opinion on a little bit. Yeah.
Let's get into that a little bit. Overall, I thought, definitely the best of the recent past 5-6 years. Better than our expectations. Overall, an enjoyable movie. It still suffers the same problem of what new thing did this really bring to the table compared to the animated. This wasn't bad, but really, was it good? I don't know. It was enjoyable, but
it felt like a movie that was torn for me. Like literally between we must honor the past and have the fun, colorful, joyful Little Mermaid of 1989.
Correct.
But they know that the medium is now live action. They got to do sweeping shots.
Live action.
Yeah, live action, and it's got to be more quote unquote realistic.
Yes.
And obviously they got to add a few more things. So they're throwing in 2 or 3 new songs to say, oh, you know what? It's a totally different movie in some ways. And so I felt it was torn. And I think the biggest, scene that I felt that happen was when they did Part of Your World, and it felt a certain way, and then suddenly jumped to, after only maybe 5 minutes, Under the Sea.
I think the animated is like that too. Actually, it does jump quite quickly.
It might, but those two blended better versus this was very, the Under the Sea part was just felt like it was ripped out of nowhere.
I think a good way to maybe tackle this is, what did they add in the live action that you liked or did not like? What did they add that you liked or didn't like? And then afterwards we can talk about kind of what was missing.
Well, for me, the part that I think worked well was extending visiting the town, like the market, when Ariel and Eric, meet for the first time.
Yeah.
Right? I enjoyed the scene where, she stumbles into his study and then starts looking at the stuff and, kind of build, kind of literally break the ice to kind of have that relationship.
Right.
And I felt that their romantic story of actually coming together more believable.
Yes. That was definitely what I was going to say too as a big one. In the animated, it's just they get together and they fall madly in love because it's a 90-minute movie.
Right.
This one, it's more believable, even though it's still only within the span of 3 days. It's okay, and they fleshed out Eric's character a little bit. Also, a person who feels trapped and wants to explore new things, and so you can see that they have something in common.
Eric had his Elsa moment.
When he was singing, you mean?
He was not allowed to leave the castle.
Oh, okay, yeah. The part that they did add that it was always random to me. I remember in just before, leading up to Kiss the Girl, the song, they're in the canoe, right? And then Eric, in the animated version, what's your name? Let me guess. And he randomly guesses 2 names, which are wrong. And then his third guess of all the possible names is Ariel. And she's like, okay, and she nods. This one, she's pointing to something to kind of help him get it. So, little things like that I appreciated.
See, I wanted to nitpick on that one.
Yeah.
They were going through the constellations in the sky.
Yes.
Did Eric mention Aries?
Yes.
He did, right?
Yes, he did.
Oh, because I missed that. Because I was wondering
okay.
how
she
would know Aries.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty clever.
It was clever. Yeah, as opposed to just randomly guessing.
Yes,
the
third name, and it's not, Mary.
Back in their cartoon, Sebastian kind of whispers.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, he does.
He went.
Yeah. Which in this movie, it establishes more clearly that when the animals are talking, the humans don't understand it. The humans still just understand it as
gibberish,
as animal noises, right?
Yeah.
Because when Aquafina was talking and singing, we'll talk about that. An addition that I wasn't so fond of. Yeah, he just heard kind of squawking.
Yeah.
So, but in the cartoon, I guess he can sort of hear her.
It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon. It's magical. Who knows?
It's magical. Yeah. Realism isn't what they're going for. Anything else that they added that you kind of liked?
No, it's aside from I think the sort of the.
Like. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that was a little bit more interesting is in your mind you're trying to think, oh, how would they film this scene, and then you see how they film, and that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like sweeping shots, drone shots. Some of the water shots were kind of neat. So I think that was what they added. But again, nothing. The story was pretty much beat for beat.
Yes. The ending, I think they added a bunch of little, just small things. I don't think it was very long, the extra ending, but it felt long. Like my son, like after the end, because the end in the cartoon, Eric stabs Ursula, and then King Triton sees how sad Mermaid is on the boat, and he turns her into a thing, and then they get married, and then it's the music swells, and then it's all over within like 3 minutes. This. She goes back into the ocean, and and then he makes her have legs, and then they have a wedding, I guess, or the two of them.
A send off,
and then all the mermaids come out, and so it was just a little long.
Yeah,
like my son was like rocking in his chair, like he was done, he was ready to go.
But then they stretched out this movie. This was a 2-hour movie, which is a lot to ask for kids.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But that scene where Triton transforms her into a person again, it clearly shows that they're assuming the audience knows the 1989 movie where his magical powers.
Oh, because they didn't
show
actually show it. Yeah.
So like if you didn't know, you'd be like, wait, what happened? Like how come she's just walking suddenly?
Right.
Because next scene she runs up to him and she has legs, right? So
because in the entire establishment of this movie, anytime he's used that Triton,
it's to kill people. Exactly. So there's some things that are obviously assumed, and they're saying, okay, well, you guys know we show it this way, but we're going to do it this way.
Right.
So there's a few things. Obviously, they added some things that I'm not sure what I really love about any of these live action movies. They always added 1 or 2 new songs that are quite forgettable.
Yes.
This song, Eric's song, I forgot the name of the song.
It is called Uncharted Waters or something.
Right. A very thick British accent used in the waters part.
Yes.
And also the laziest type of music video I've ever seen, where he's literally one-shotting it, singing with a lot of auto-tune, and then panoramic, one drone, and he's just looking. It looks really lazy, like someone filmed it on their iPhone, right? The lighting composition was kind of dark, and he's like looking into some ocean. It wasn't even a blend of interesting things.
And somehow he ends up on a boat.
Yeah, and it just cut in the middle of the song to him on a boat, even though he wasn't allowed out of the castle at that point. I thought that was weird too. I didn't like that song, I thought the song was very forgettable. It definitely didn't fit in with the rest of the music, which is the last few live actions where they've added a song. The songs are like okay, but they just really seem out of place compared to the rest of the established teams. And I don't know how much of that is like because we know what music is supposed to be in it. I think there's a part of that, but I think the other part is like the music kind of works with each other much better, and then you're kind of plopping a thing in that doesn't really fit as well.
A lot of it is, if you notice Jasmine's song, Eric's song, they're trying to add more to the secondary character.
Right.
And give them a narrative arc, so to speak.
Jasmine?
Yeah, Jasmine from Aladdin added a new song, and then in Beauty and the Beast got a new song, Evermore. Yeah, just characters that didn't have as much character. They're trying to.
Did they add one for The Lion King?
Yes.
Nala, right?
Did
Beyonce
Nala have a song?
Did Beyonce have a song?
No, Beyonce's song was at the end, like it was credits.
Okay.
And credits.
I think one of the other characters did have a song. Was it Zazu? No, he sings. He sings the song already.
Yeah, he sings with.
I forgot. We'll look
anyway,
it up. Okay.
The one musical edition that I did like, again, because it fits better, because obviously it does, is Ariel does another reprise.
Right.
She does a reprise, obviously, on the rock, which is super weird, the way she moves on the rock, because she sets up part of your, and then she needs to set up for that big water splash moment,
Yes.
which is beautiful, really nice, effects, I would assume. But like, she starts off at this bottom part of the rock, and then she just kind of slides over. Even my daughter noticed that, and she's like, she didn't move her hands. It was really weird. But then she adds another reprise later about.
I don't know why. I mean, if you're
I
talking
like
about the
that one.
differences, why did they take Le Poisson out?
Yeah.
Because if you're going saying, okay, it's either too long or it doesn't fit the theme of the movie, but that's a comedic piece.
Yeah.
In fact, Sebastian versus the cook is a big part of the movie.
Yeah.
And so why not add that, to add some, lighten it up a bit, have some humor, break it up. I thought they should have kept that song
Maybe
in.
it was a runtime issue.
It could have
We said
been.
it was already long. Yeah.
But I think that would have added some.
I think so.
Because Sebastian was a comedic relief in this movie, and he was doing a lot of jokes. So why not give him a little bit of more fun, right? Add to his character a little bit. Yeah.
Now, staying on the songs, what do you think about the renditions of Under the Sea and Part of Your World?
Well,
These are iconic songs.
really iconic.
Like, these are, when they start playing, like, everyone knows and hums along.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the singer.
Yes, Halle Bailey,
I think she's a fantastic singer.
excellent.
Obviously, really has singing chops and can hit all the notes and added some flair to it.
Yeah.
So I think
Made
Part
it
of
her
Your
own.
World was done really well.
I think so too.
Under the Sea, I would say, not really because of song or the orchestration, but because it felt kind of dead in some ways.
Yes.
I don't know
why. It's because it's missing some of the magic. I know you talked about color grading and,
Yeah.
with the realism, some of the colors missing. But in the cartoon version,
They play instruments.
they sing and they play instruments. All the other fish and the other marine life are part and singing together, and they're dancing, which they sort of dance here, but they're playing instruments. The whatever, whichever fish, the bass is the Duke of Soul or whatever, and you go, yeah, and he's playing the saxophone, right? And that just kind of adds.
It adds a lot.
Yeah.
But that's sort of my problem with these live action movies is if you're going to make Sebastian and Flounder talk and be kind of, human-like in that way, then why aren't the other creatures in the sea adding to that?
Yes, and so that transitions us nicely to kind of what they took away.
Yeah.
Right. Sebastian is supposed to look like this, and they changed to Sebastian, but they
But what about Melissa McCarthy's rendition of
of Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Yeah.
At the time on viewing, I thought she did a good enough job imitating Pat Carroll, who was the original Ursula. When I left the theater and I was listening to the soundtrack with my kids, and then we listened to the original, I was like, oh, actually, it's a poor imitation. She is imitating, but when you listen to the original, Pat Carroll has so much character in just the way she's phrasing her words and just the tone, just her raspy voice to begin with is so iconic. And it wasn't offensively bad, Poor Unfortunate Souls. I mean, Melissa McCarthy in general for this, I was very afraid that she would just be doing her shtick of the one kind of character that she does with the crude kind of humor. And there's a little bit of that here, but all in all, she kind of stuck to imitating.
I have no problem with Rob with her singing voice and hitting the notes.
Yep.
But what my problem is that I felt like she was imitating the character,
Right.
Yeah.
versus making it her own.
Which Ariel did.
And Ariel did a better job of that.
Yeah,
Everybody else did a better job of that. But she was sort of playing, and you could tell because sometimes she'd get into her American accent and make a contemporary joke. Right, and then it was like, oh, back to the Ursula accent and the bombastic, villain that she is. So I felt like why add those little components? Just take those out and make her the character. Don't make those little contemporary jokes.
Which to how you started it is it's kind of like torn.
They're torn. It's torn.
Between two
it's
different
torn.
things. Yeah.
And I know you were going to say about Sebastian. He's sort of torn too. He sort of looks like a real crab, but then he kind of looks
But
like a
not.
fake crab.
Yeah, because they made him. His body is a real crab, but they really exaggerated his eyes because
He looks like Mr. Krabs from
Yeah,
SpongeBob.
yeah.
I kept on thinking he was going to do the Mr. Krabs voice. I like money, I would rather them do that.
Right, and so they again torn between. Wait, do we make this completely live action and realistic like Lion King? But they did with Flounder, which is really weird too. Flounder just looked like a normal, not cute fish. I don't know if they diminished his role a little bit too.
They did, because when he can't emote like a human, he looks like just a fish who's talking.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he does things to help Ariel. He gets mad. He uses his fins to hit things. So he adds to it a lot. Even in the very end, right, of Little Mermaid, if you remember this, they lift up Flounder and she kisses him.
Oh, yes.
That's a very sweet moment to say goodbye to her friend.
Right.
In this one, there's no way she's going to kiss this nasty, ugly fish, right? So that's what I'm saying. If he was cuter, they made him fatter. He's cuter. His eyes are faithful, and he's like a little bit more animated.
Right.
It's just a cuter moment. And so those kind of things are off to me. And it goes to your point with Under the Sea, how it just felt like there was a bunch of animated sea creatures, and she's riding on a few, and she's swimming with a few, but it loses completely that magic.
Yeah.
The first movie had.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Anything else, Rob?
Well, the other thing that I also liked, I mean, we already talked about some of the things we don't like, but I actually liked how Eric wasn't in a full spell, right? He was still contemplating, like, oh, why do I feel the way I feel? Which I think was
when Vanessa shows up.
Yeah, when Vanessa. So, which I actually liked that change.
Okay.
Like I thought that
because
that's
in the
more
animated,
realistic.
he's just like a zombie.
Yeah. Like he was completely locked in, and it goes to the the lore of Mermaid. The what's it called again? The sound.
The siren.
Their siren.
Their siren.
Yeah,
to be able to lure people.
Yeah, they added that to this, and actually that gives a bit more logic of why Ursula would take her voice, because she said it would be too easy if you had your voice, right?
Right.
So there's some logic there. Again, they added some stuff which I thought was slightly clever. They took away some stuff which, not so great.
So
the one final thing that I kept bothering me throughout the movie was the underwater effects.
Ooh, that's
overall, which is a really big one.
It's huge.
Yeah, I mean the movie is at least half completely set underwater, but the underwater effects it
looked plasticky.
Like it looked like they were clearly filming on dry with some hair.
It looked very clear, and you could tell, especially with Bardem. He goes. They tell him, okay, you're gonna do this. You see him a lot doing this, like so as if he's like balancing, and then move your head a little bit, and then we'll do the hair. So just keep talking. That's what I felt with the whole movie. They're just doing this the whole time.
And I think like it's small, like little things, like I don't know if it's like bubbles or currents or maybe the graininess of the water that you're not supposed to be able to see things too clearly, and it's just shot too cleanly. Disney should know how to do this, right?
Yes.
Marvel just did it with Black Panther. Avatar just did it. Aquaman did it better. But this it looked fake. Yeah, it looked really obviously fake.
Exactly.
And so that took me out of it a lot. Even if we're part of your world, and she's supposed to be in this underwater grotto, but she's clearly just like on like a little stage, and
that's what I have the problem with is like the shots on land look so different than the shots underwater. It's like there are two movies here.
Yeah, the land stuff, especially with the landscape, and the natural, the ocean and the little island, it's very nice.
I think the world building on land was a lot better. Again, my nitpick of the water was this guy is in some dump. He's not ruling anybody, right?
He's the king of all of the oceans.
He's in some corner somewhere with his dinky little throne. I thought maybe the animated version, I forgot, it sort of looks like that, but
no. The underwater kingdom that he rules is this golden, golden city, and he has a big throne room.
Okay, so that's what they should have done.
Yeah,
where he summons whales,
like a rock.
Yeah, he summons whales.
Yeah. I think like dolphins pull a chariot for him.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. But this one, he swims like this, and he's talking. All he's doing is talking.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think the casting of...
Yes, that's one of the low points for you, I think, right?
And I think for you, too. You didn't really love it.
No, I didn't. He was the weakest, I think, of all the main kind of characters.
I just feel like with any old man, they could have cast any other old man to do it.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing was... This is a nitpick, okay? Nitpick of the week. But when he swims up to give her a hug or a kiss, whatever, he looked like some homeless person that washed up because his hair was kind of matted and didn't look majestic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just looked kind of awkward. I think when I think of King Triton in the original movie, this guy's ripped. He's buff. He's huge. He should have casted The Rock. I'm telling you, The Rock with a beard, and but he had this chest piece. It looked kind of weak. I don't know. Just it didn't look great. I think I'm nitpicking, but I didn't love it.
No, I don't think that's a nitpick, really. I think that is probably I think the two largest weak points is the water effects and Javier Bardem was just the two kind of standout weak points. There are other things that you could actually nitpick, and there are lots of good things about it, but on balance, it was a good movie, but I think those two are the worst kind of things.
Yeah, my nitpick is how Ursula got mad at Eric for killing her baby eels when it was actually Ariel who redirected.
I mean, that's you
right?
mentioned that, but he was the one that was there, and I mean, he took a spear, swam like, I don't know, 50 feet underwater, and then threw a spear with enough accuracy and speed to, cut her, and then was able to swim back up and come back down.
Yeah. And not just that, but he had to find them
in
this ocean. Like, there wasn't a GPS tag. So, I mean,
that's the power of love.
So he did that, which caused the death of the two eels. The two eels which didn't talk. Which, again, why don't any other animals other than Flounder and Sebastian talk? Because the two eels were very
And that's a big
important.
part of it, their voices.
Yeah, they were kind of creepy.
And so the trivia is, their names are?
Flotsam and Jetsam.
Right, and they have the eye thing, which is really cool, where they kind of like...
one eye each.
Exactly, and they see that. They missed all those things.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yes.
That's
You know the difference between Flotsam and Jetsam?
No, they're...
No, not the characters, like in terms of the actual naval. They're naval terms.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's for when you throw stuff overboard. Flotsam is debris that floats.
Okay.
And Jetsam is debris that sinks. Like if you have to throw stuff overboard.
I literally thought the Little Mermaid made those names.
Oh, no. Yeah, so if there's like a shipwreck, Flotsam is the stuff that's floating, and Jetsam is the stuff that's sunk.
Okay.
So that's why, anyway.
Trivia of the week.
The more you know. Okay, so final grades for The Little Mermaid. I think we're all going to be shocked that it's not D's like we would have given to... I didn't watch Mulan. I mean, what would you give Mulan?
Oh,
D.
Mulan was a D.
Yeah, what would you give Aladdin, Lion King?
They were
C's.
Okay, so the four Renaissance movies are Little Mermaid. We talked about this in our preview. Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Lion King.
Yeah.
And so the other three live actions, of those three, I would say Beauty and the Beast might have been like a B-, C+. Aladdin and Lion King were C- for me. Like, they were pretty bad. This one, I think, is the best of the four for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would give this a B. Nah, B. I'm settling at B. B. Yeah. What would you give this?
I give it a B.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I give it a B- because Ambulance and Little Mermaid. I don't know. That's a tough call. So B- for me.
Now, my girls loved it.
Yeah.
And I think all of us, I don't know about you, but we're all on Spotify playing Part of Your World on the way to Kanji Queen. So
we were listening to the Mandarin version of Part of Your World.
Okay.
Which was
very random.
Pretty interesting.
Surely not a Mandarin cover of the...
No, it's the Mandarin...
Of the animated.
Of the China release.
Oh,
we're listening to that
soundtrack.
sense.
That would make sense.
Because
okay.
I wanted to hear what Scuttlebutt sounded like in Mandarin, which was a very
rap song that was added.
Yeah, which to go back, Aquafina I think was also a low point too for me.
She stood out. Yeah, she stood out.
Not enough to it was sort of, she's a side character.
Side character who was originally kind of meant to be goofy and whatever anyway.
But I think there was a little too much.
I agree. Yeah.
But honestly, if it didn't have her, they needed something to lighten this movie up. It was so some dark, serious moments, and I just feel like they needed more light moments in this movie. In the original cartoon, it's a lot of fun, a lot of joy, and it's this movie is just like, wow, it's so negative.
So the Mandarin for Scuttlebutt is...
I can't pronounce it.
Added here.
But it's not a direct translation. It's a play on the words to make it sound like Scuttlebutt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so. It's all around B's.
Yeah. And then, so I guess the next live action is Moana, right?
Announced.
That has been announced.
But I think some people are predicting if this does not do well, it could be
they
a
could cut
course correction for Disney.
Right.
So Rob is predicting 600 million. I said it's going to be over a billion. Maybe it's going to be in between. So we'll see. But they're saying this is the last of the 4 Renaissance. Like Moana, is that really going to make a lot of money? I don't know.
The more I see the numbers now, the more that I incline that Rob might be right.
Okay.
Domestic numbers are really good, and if it has a decent multiple, it could make good numbers. But without any international support, it might not make 600. Might not.
That would be an absolute failure for Disney after Aladdin
After
made
all
billions.
the billions. Yeah, everyone was a billion. Except for Mulan.
But why didn't they, for example, why didn't they launch with The Little Mermaid? Why do all these other ones?
Right?
Why in that order? So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so those are our thoughts on The Little Mermaid. Have you seen The Little Mermaid? What did you think? What did you think about what we thought? What are your high points and low points? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, appreciate all the support. Please do like and subscribe, and see you soon.
Yeah, until next episode, keep watching good, better than average movies.